Can the RTX 5070 deliver a pleasant experience in modern games using ray tracing? Let's find out. To test this, I paired the MSI Ventus 2X version of the RTX 5070 with the Ryzen 7 9800X3D CPU and will be experiencing the games on MSI QD OLED monitor. This is a 27-inch panel, 360 Hz. By the way, I upgraded my PC a little bit. As you can see, the CPU cooler is different. This is Be Quiet Silent Loop 3, 420mm radiator. I think it looks pretty cool. Oh, and also I upgraded the power supply to the Be Quiet Power Zone 2. As always, if you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. There is no need to spend that much money on Windows 11 Pro when you can get it much cheaper at cdkeyoffer.com. Additionally, use discount code iVadim to get 25% off and bring the total price down to $22. Furthermore, you can find Windows 10 Pro as well as Microsoft Office at much cheaper prices as well. Get yours now at the link in the description below, and don't forget to use discount code iVadim to get 25% off. Let's start with the classic, Cyberpunk 2077. We'll be testing everything at 1440p and we'll be using optimized settings, so no reason to just max out everything. Optimized settings are the way to go in my opinion. As you can see, 1440p resolution, and we'll use high graphics quality preset because this is the best balance between visuals and performance. DLSS is set to quality and we're using the latest transformer model. Field of view is set to 100 and we'll turn off motion blur, depth of field, all those things that blur the image. Without ray tracing, we're getting a fantastic performance. Take a look at that. FPS is well above 100. Sometimes reaching 150, 160, but mostly staying at 120 plus. So this is a proper high refresh rate experience. Now let's enable ray tracing. We'll turn on everything. Shadows, sun shadows, reflections, and medium ray traced lighting for now. As you can see, ray tracing consumes a lot of compute power, and that will be a common theme throughout this video. We'll be looking at the performance without ray tracing and then comparing it to with ray tracing, just out of curiosity to see what's the difference in performance going to be like, as well as is it even possible to enjoy modern games at 1440p with the RTX 5070 and ray tracing enabled, and what kind of levels of ray tracing, because at the moment lighting is set to medium and we're not using path tracing. We will definitely take a look at path tracing a little bit later on in this video, but for now I think this is a perfectly good experience. Well above 60 FPS. Ray tracing looks good. Oh, actually, hold on a second. I forgot to do something real quick. I forgot to turn on ray reconstruction. That is a must. Let's turn it on. Ray reconstruction is a great feature. It gets rid of a lot of noise that is introduced when you're using ray tracing. For example, most noticeably in reflections. This is much better, and the performance is pretty much the same. So, as far as I'm aware, there is no performance hit for using ray reconstruction. This is already a pretty good experience, both visually as well as FPS. It's quite smooth. Of course, it's not as good as 120 plus FPS that we had without ray tracing, but damn. If you want to experience ray tracing, then the RTX 5070 can do it. At least in this game. We'll take a look at more games in this video just to check, like, are there any limitations? And to be fair, this is a fairly old game, so we'll take a look at some newer ones. Oh, look at that reflection. Oh, and even NPCs are reflected. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's increase the ray tracing settings, shall we? We'll use ultra ray traced lighting. FPS is still above 60, so yeah, we can max out ray traced lighting in this game, no issues. Looks good, both in terms of performance as well as visuals. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. This game gets a pass. However, how about path tracing? That is the most demanding form of ray tracing. Let's turn it on. And hold on a second. Yes, path tracing enabled. Let's go. Wow, this is actually better than I expected. We're getting 40 to 50 plus FPS. While this is not impressive in terms of performance, in terms of visuals, it is looking pretty good. Yeah, path tracing looks amazing, and it is the most realistic form of ray tracing currently available. Honestly, I was expecting performance to be much worse when path tracing is enabled, but we're getting 50 FPS in some cases. Wow. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try DLSS Balanced, because, I don't know, is it possible that we might be able to enjoy path tracing? Let's see. It's just that I don't think that 40 plus FPS is a good enough experience. But 50 plus? It's okay already. At least we can actually check out what path tracing is all about. Obviously, by using DLSS Balanced, the image is smoother. It's not as crisp and sharp as it used to be on the DLSS quality mode, but it still feels fine. I mean, DLSS 4 works wonders. And we're even getting 60 plus FPS in some cases. This is already a playable and somewhat pleasant experience. Okay, path tracing experience achieved. I wonder what will happen if we slap some frame generation on top of that. I'll use the 2x mode because I think that that is the best one in terms of quality. The main thing I'm watching is VRAM usage. Is 12 GB going to be enough for both path tracing and frame generation features? Because both of those consume additional video memory. And it looks like it's enough. We're using around 10 GB. The controls latency is absolutely fine. The mouse is responsive. And our FPS is in the 90s, sometimes reaching above 100. Beautiful. If you're looking for a smoother image, then this is the way to go. Of course, if you don't mind frame generation and some minor visual imperfections that it brings to the table. In my experience, this looks okay. I mean, I don't have any issues playing this game like this. It's fine. Next up, let's take a look at a newer game. This is Oblivion Remastered. It's built in Unreal Engine 5, which is quite GPU demanding. So let's see what we can get here. 1440p resolution, high graphics quality preset. It provides pretty much the same quality as Ultra. I can't tell the difference with the naked eye. And hardware ray tracing is off for now. We're using software ray tracing set to high. and DLSS is set to quality. Using this set of settings, the game plays beautifully. Look at how smooth it is. It's a proper 90 FPS experience. We could just limit it at 90 and enjoy the game like so. However, we don't have hardware ray tracing at the moment. And this video is all about testing ray tracing. Mostly hardware, because software ray tracing, yeah, it looks okay in some cases, but in other cases it's not really competitive with hardware ray tracing, is it? Especially when we're looking at shadows and lighting on objects such as trees. It makes a huge difference. This tree with software ray tracing, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look realistic. So let's go ahead and enable hardware ray tracing. We'll start with low and we'll go up from there. Trees and shrubs look much better with proper shadows and lighting. The game transformed, truly. And the performance is fine. 80-ish FPS in this location, that's pretty good. And the reflections look okay. Nice. This is a smooth experience in my opinion. Above 60 FPS in this game is good enough for me. What if we increase that ray tracing quality? Let's go for medium. We lost a little bit of performance, but it actually isn't too bad because we're still getting well above 60 FPS. 80-ish actually, 80 plus. Right. And 70 plus in other scenes. Beautiful, beautiful. And look at that VRAM usage. We are now at above 8 gigabytes. We'll keep increasing that ray tracing quality. High setting next. We're seeing pretty much the same FPS as we had on the ray tracing medium setting. Okay, this is pretty good. I wonder if the Ultra, the maximum ray tracing quality, will work well. I think there is no reason to dwell on, the high ray tracing preset, and just let's go ahead and max it out right away. Ultra, that's the maximum hardware ray tracing we have in this game. Surprisingly, the performance is pretty much the same as we had with the medium ray tracing preset, while some of the ray tracing effects are actually nicer. They look nicer. For example, ray traced reflections, they have a lot more detail in them, while the FPS is still good. Well above 60, 80 actually, 80 plus over here. This is quite good. And if I were playing this game using the RTX 5070 paired with a 1440p monitor, then this is the set of settings that I would use. Ray tracing maxed out, high graphics quality preset, and DLSS set to quality mode. Because why not? At 1440p, DLSS 4 quality mode looks very nice indeed. By the way, in other locations, FPS will be higher, by quite a bit actually, but I'm sure that there will be some more GPU-intensive scenes in this game later on somewhere. I just haven't reached any of them yet, but I think we have enough spare GPU power remaining to handle those. We could go ahead and increase that texture quality to Ultra. There we go, we're still using below 9 gigabytes of video memory, so we have plenty left to play around with other features, such as frame generation, for example. Obviously, whilst playing the game, VRAM might increase in some scenarios, but it's not gonna go up by gigabytes. Which means that 12 gigabytes is still pretty much enough to play the latest games, even while using NVIDIA's latest VRAM-hungry features, such as ray tracing and frame generation. Actually, speaking of frame generation, let's enable it, just to take a look, right? It's on. We're now using more video memory, as you can see, 9+ gigabytes. 9.5, I've seen the largest number right there. But yeah, it's still below 10 gigabytes, which is pretty good. And the FPS is quite smooth now. If you're looking for a high refresh rate experience in this game, then frame generation is the only way to achieve that. Lastly, let's take a look at the most GPU demanding game in my arsenal. This is Alan Wake 2, and it can destroy even the most powerful GPUs. Yeah, even the RTX 1590 is struggling in this game under certain conditions, and we'll definitely take a look at those. But for now, let's take a look at 1440p resolution using DLSS 4 quality mode, no frame generation, high graphics quality preset, and no ray tracing. In the town area, indoors, we're getting 90 to 110, 117, 19 FPS. Okay, 120 in some scenes. But mostly it's a solid 90+ FPS experience. Even in the forest area, we're getting well above 60 FPS. Close to 90 actually. 80+. And the worst case scenario is still above 60 FPS. You'd think that in this dark scene we don't need much GPU power, but damn, it's actually one of the most demanding scenes, right? Now let's go ahead and enable ray tracing. I think that low is just not worth it, it doesn't look good, it consumes a lot of GPU power without delivering any meaningful visual effects. So let's go ahead and select medium right away. Oh, even in the town area, the performance hit is quite significant. We are managing to get 60+ FPS so far, but it's coming really close to that 60 FPS mark. My god, this game is so GPU demanding, especially when you turn on ray tracing. But it does look beautiful in this game. Ray tracing is definitely transforming the visual experience in this game significantly. The reflections, the lighting, the shadows, it's just looking so beautiful. But the problem is that in the most demanding scenes in the game, the performance isn't good. Take a look at this. Below 30 FPS. I've seen 29 FPS just then. And we're getting 30-ish. Yeah, this isn't good. Basically, you cannot play this game in the forest area with ray tracing enabled. But you can enjoy most other parts of the game with ray tracing enabled and still have like 60+ FPS. So it's a little bit of a hustle to actually, turn off ray tracing when you enter the forest, but it's doable. I wonder, what if we reduce the DLSS upscaling quality to balanced? Will that help? Nah, not really. It is better, but it's still a 30+ FPS experience. For PC gaming, I think this is unacceptable. I definitely don't want to play this game at 30 to 40+ FPS. Well, at least not in this area. You're not gonna get a 60 plus FPS experience in the forest, that is for sure. And even if you turn on frame generation, it doesn't feel good. Let me just show you real quick. Let's enable the 2x frame gen. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Maybe it's not as bad as I remember it to be. Yes, there's a little bit of a latency when you move the camera, when you pan the camera. I guess it's like a compromise that you'll have to make if you want to play this game without turning the ray tracing on and off. Just enable frame generation and accept that in some scenes that are way more GPU demanding, you'll have to deal with a little bit of controls latency. There's such a massive contrast in terms of FPS between those two locations. Take a look at this. In the town area, we're getting 130, 120 plus FPS with frame generation enabled and DLSS set to balanced. Same medium ray tracing. Oh, 140 plus. Okay. And over here, there is no latency. There is no controls latency to speak of. It feels good. Okay? So, it's up to you. I mean, it is playable. I would call it playable. Is it completely pleasant? No. Because when you enter the forest, you'll have to deal with controls latency. The mouse won't feel as responsive. Let's try a different option. Let's go back to DLSS quality mode, turn off frame generation, and increase the ray tracing to high. The performance hit at this level of ray tracing is a little bit more pronounced. We're getting 50 plus FPS now instead of 60 plus, but in other scenes we still get 60 plus, so it is still playable, I would say. But once again, once we enter the forest, that will turn into 30-ish FPS, so let's just not do that. We already established that in the forest area you need to use either frame generation or turn off ray tracing completely. But this is still usable because you won't spend all of the game in the forest. You'll be exploring areas like this one here. And while 50 FPS is not great, it's not gonna be always 50 plus FPS. Take a look at this. In other scenes, we're still getting 60 plus. Alright. And the only thing left to check is the absolutely maxed out ray tracing ultra preset. We're getting 50 plus FPS over here, but it's like low 50s. Oh, 50 FPS exactly. And 60 plus in other scenes. So, I don't know. I mean, it is still playable. And we could always just decrease the resolution upscaling quality to just claim back some of that performance by trading in some of the finer details, clarity. The image will be just a little bit more blurry. But is it worth it? I don't know. It might be. Because DLSS 4, it looks quite good on a 1440p monitor. Let's try it. DLSS Balanced. We're actually getting 60 plus FPS in most scenes now. Okay. I think this might be it. If you want to enjoy the highest ray tracing in this game, then this actually might be it. I'm impressed. 70 plus FPS over here, and we're actually using close to 10 gigabytes of video memory. But we still have 2 gigabytes remaining. Oh, 56 over here, so it's not a consistent 60 plus FPS experience, but little dips into high 50s is fine. In the worst case scenario, we're still getting 30-ish FPS, so yeah. Without frame generation, it is impossible to enjoy this particular section of the game. FPS does reach high 40s from time to time, even in the forest section of the game, but yeah, it's not a completely pleasant and trouble-free experience, is it? In conclusion, you can use the RTX 5070 to enjoy ray tracing in modern games on a 1440p monitor. Just bear in mind that you'll have to use DLSS resolution upscaling pretty much every time. But if you're using DLSS quality mode, then I think it's good enough. Because even when I'm playing just normally on a 1440p monitor using an NVIDIA graphics card, I use DLSS quality anyway. Even if I have to like cap it at some point, for example at 120 or at 90 FPS, it is still worth it. I definitely prefer a more fluid image on the screen compared to like just a little more detail that native 1440p delivers. I always use DLSS quality. Of course, there are always exceptions, like Alan Wake 2. The forest section of the game is not pleasant on the RTX 5070, but it's not a big deal because that is just a small part of the game. You can still enjoy like the majority of the game content in Alan Wake 2 with ray tracing enabled, and you can even use the highest level of ray tracing in that game, which is quite impressive. If you're looking to experience ray tracing in modern games, then the RTX 5070 can deliver that for you. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about all this? And if you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon at the links in the description below. Don't forget to reward my work with a like if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Furthermore, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.